They also picked up the Lina off the back of Chaos Knight. I'm not going to ask you to hype her up because you're going to say the same thing that you always do whenever we see the Lina. And Pango, SMG picking up Pango for the last pick in this phase. How are you guys liking the looks of both drafts so far?
I'm wondering if Pango's going mid or Death Prophet. I think Lina's a tough matchup for either.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Lina was kind of a good pick because it's like, well, don't necessarily know what your mid matchup's going to be, but Lina's just this classic, like, doesn't lose mid lane to many heroes. The ones that have been the bad matchups, like TA, it's already banned out. So just seems like a safe, solid pick. It scales well. It covers some of the CK's weaknesses, which is like that, you know, late game scaling. Like this hero kind of falls off and is more of this tempo carry, but then you've got this secondary core, you know, similar to like a Lifesteal. Lifesteal's not going to carry the game by itself. You want to have that mid laner that also can go late game. So I like the Lina pick for that reason.
Seen Pango into Lina mid before, but it required supports to come mid and kind of like wall out the Lina to allow Pango to get levels. Gods is such a homie. It was OD.
Oh yeah,
It was OD offlane.
Forgot that's
The
just a dead
CK.
hero.
Yeah.
CK versus OD.
Have not
Yeah.
seen
Yeah,
so long.
it was this OD that had to rush Meteor Hammer and was useless till you had it.
It was picked so much though
Yeah.
last patch and last tour. And
Yeah.
like near the end, I do remember that a lot.
Yeah, and Fnatic were like one of the best teams at dealing with the OD
Mhm.
offlanes. They were picking
No
stuff
one
like
else could do
CK
it.
and PA and just like jumping him and like
Yeah.
making his laning impossible. Thanks, you're so,
Ah,
I feel so relieved
Yeah.
now.
I feel
I know
whole
this-
again. I feel at peace. I can sleep
Yeah.
easy.
Okay,
Yeah.
whew, alright, we're good.
Back on track.
So we have stuns on Fnatic. We have Monkey King setup, CK stun, Lina stun. We don't have an initiator, so I would like to see that in the offlane for them. I'm not sure who exactly. Like, I would like a Blink stun, like Dragon Knight or something. I don't really like that matchup into like. Okay, that's not an initiator, and I don't like it. Is it offlane CK? Is it carry?
Oh, offlane natures maybe?
They don't see the carry matchup.
I guess you have that flex potential. Maybe that's what they're thinking. It's like what we're talking about with DK Death Prophet. You have these two heroes. You're committed to your draft, but you can still swap two heroes around. Maybe
Yeah.
Nature's CK swap based on what SMG gets.
So the nature's like, okay, so on one hand, I see this Pango. I'm like, this Pango goes mid or something and is given a good game, or even offlane and has a good game. This is like a really nice Pango game. You can clear like all the Treants, you can clear the CK illusions, like. With a diffusal, you should be able to pop off and have a great game. On the other hand, when Nature's hits level 20, if he sprouts the Rolling Thunder Pango, he gets leashed in place and cannot roll.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's just, it pierces BKB, so you can just straight up stop him from fighting. It's so stupid. It's so funny.
Well, it's an interesting draft. I'd say more so from Fnatic than SMG. But our casters, our duo for this series is going to be Aries and John. Aries, how you doing? I want to say hi because we haven't seen you yet today.
Hi.
Very well. I'm cheating on Denog once again, and now John's joining the cheating action too.
You guys disgust me. Not really though. I do want to know your thoughts about this Nature's Prophet and where it's going. If you want to start, Aries.
The Nature's Prophet's interesting. I like the point Sheep brought up, though. I think the level 20 talent is a big issue for the Pangoli to deal with. I think we saw it a little bit in Western Europe, so I'm intrigued if they can get to that stage. It's a very big counter. It looks like it will be a jab sphere on as well, so it's exciting.
And
Yeah,
yes.
I think that's the best position for it. You can be really aggressive on it. The 20 spike was shown to us by Polaris, actually. They played it in Pro Series 10, and that was something they really held on to, and we see them pick up a couple of times. So I like Fnatic's draft. I think it's going to be pretty hard for SMG to deal with it. I mean, the Gyrocopter deals with illusions and summons pretty well, but you've got a Lina you're up against, and that's really tough to deal with towards late game.
I personally believe in the Lina supremacy, so whenever I see her, I immediately go for her. But for you guys, which team do you think is taking game one? Who do you like more?
If I had to say a draft I liked more, I would say SMGs. I just feel like their heroes deal with Fnatic's better, but Fnatic has always been such a good team. It's scary, you know?
You just sat in the middle. You didn't actually pick a team.
No, I said I like their draft more, but Fnatic skill-wise, probably more consistent.
Okay. All right. So you're going Fnatic.
I'll go Fnatic.
No, I went SMG.
Let's just go in with her, please. I would love to cheat on Sheep against someone else in this battle. I'm just joking.
Hey, Fear, you there? You watching?
Aries and John, same question. Who do you guys think is going to take game one as we do head into it?
Thank you, Nat. Yeah, John, I'm gonna have to give Fnatic, I think, a little bit of the edge. Pre-Furion, I was liking the draft. I know when we were speaking a little bit about it, as soon as I saw the Shadow Demon and the Monkey King, I'm like, all right, I like this opener. Big fan of it. Furion's a question mark, but I still believe in Fnatic.
Yeah, I think they've got the lineup to get it done. I really like seeing Armel's Lina. I think having that stable win condition from their mid kind of solidifies that position. You know, there's not too much pressure for Raven or Jabs to really carry through the game. All they have to do is just maybe get Armel some space out, get the travels, get the BKB fast, and you can just run around. You outrange Gyrocopter, you can shoot him down very fast. You've got that 20 talent for the NP to again hold back the Pangolier, which will eventually come out. And of course, we have a lovely view here from Pidgeon as we do go in, giving us a good aerial view. But it's going to be a bit of a toughie for SMG. I think their key thing is their mid-game timing. You've got Ninja Bogey on his Bane once more, so you have really good grip coming through, really good control. But up against Shadow Demon, goes back to what you said. You saw that opening, Shadow Demon plus Monkey King. Lots of vision, lots of counter control for what SMG wants to do. They have a lot of save to kind of hold back from SMG's aggression here.
And, you know, I know you brought up the SMG and Ninja Boogie Bane, and pre-lobby I was also questioning Ninja Boogie if we were going to get a little bit of a dance on cam, and we got that early in the draft. So Ninja Boogie, I appreciate it. Thank you for vibing all with us, and we get to see him on his exceptional Bane. Somehow is only level 5 on the Bane, which you got to do a little bit more spamming in ranked games though, Ninja Boogie. Come on, you need those voice lines.
Yeah, or he doesn't have Dota Plus. Could be that, right? Like it caps out at 5 if you don't buy it. So maybe Ninja Boogie, you know, not quite giving his tribute to Valve, but that's perfectly fine as well. Some people, it's like a badge of honor, you know. I'm only level 5. You can't tell how good I am on this year because I don't have Dota Plus.
That's true. I do like the progression though from Dota Plus, the relics and having higher levels in the heroes. I'm always a fan. You know, we go into a game, we get to see anyone over 25. I know they're a try-hard. They play the hero a ridiculous amount, and that's something I can bring up. If they're only level 5 on a hero, like, well, there's no storyline there.
Yeah, just makes it harder to kind of hype up how much they play about it. Still, nice early deny for Fnatic on their ward, just ensuring that SMG is not going to get the ward. You've got the Sentry ready on Ninja Boogie. It's a bit of a clump up. Of course, you do have Nature's Prophets. You've got the Treants to scout around here. Doesn't look like we'll be having too big of an engagement, but SMG is still in position to maybe force a fight down. But Johnny and Raven are circling around here.
See, with SMG's lineup as well, you were speaking about them looking to hit a mid-game timing in stride. Is there any items that they need to get in conjunction? So maybe ones that we wouldn't anticipate?
Blink on Pango is the big one. BKBs, I think, on Gyrocopter and your DP is really big ones as well. Like just having that spell immunity stand in front, force the choice from John Well as to who he wants to kite around, is going to open up the fights more for SMG and allow them to force that issue every single time. So quick BKBs are what we've got to see. We've seen Gyrocopters kind of go that way before, you know, and just maybe Crystallis into BKB. Usually you'd want the Ags, but I don't think you want to go too slow on Gyrocopter this game. You have to be ready to join in with your magic damage and kind of contribute to these early team fights sooner rather than later for SMG.
With this mid matchup to start, we got Lina played for Armel and Moon on the Pangolier. Kind of mentioning that it feels like it's before the draft finished, just our discussion, we were kind of speaking about the Pango feels like it might be a bit of an awkward matchup versus the Pango. Or there may be any rotations we could see from SMG, maybe to secure some of the water runes to offset this advantage that Armel has.
Yeah, I think you've got to see those rotations in. Maybe not by the 2-minute mark. I don't think you see all too many supports go at that point, but by 4 minutes for sure. You've got really strong supports to get that done. Tusk and Bane can help you lock in. And that gives a good opening for Moon to just get some right clicks off and try to look for the kill potential as well if they catch Armel off guard. But for Armel, as you mentioned, should be a steady lane. Like, this is not an easy time for Pangolier. You could play with Swash. You can try to force its heal to crash out. But you're dealing with Dragon Save. You're dealing with Fiery Soul attack speed. Eventually, the LSAs on top of that. It's just not very comfy or safe for Pango to gap close here.
And I wonder what the item build is going to be for Moon as well. If he considers going into the Diffusal Blade first item, like we saw Lelouch do often, and quite often the Pangolier position twos anyway will go Diffusal if it's not like a crazy good game for it.
Yeah, I think it's much more likely we see the usual sort of playmaking build here, although there is room for Moon to kind of shift gears, but it does feel like he's their best choice for initiation to follow through from the Tusk and just give them AoE control, so you would want to see something like a fast blink. The Fusel's not too bad, it doesn't feel necessary in this game, so I don't think you're going to need it too much. Moon's got to be careful.
On pretty low mid from Armel and his spam. Swing over to our bottom lane. Raven on the Chaos Knight and Genuel on the Shadow Demon. And with Ragey Potato back for SMG, he's been given the Death Prophet paired with Arfoon. They're gonna start to get a little bit aggressive. They got some mana and some spells to utilize, so they'll just chuck out some damage onto Raven.
Yeah, not the easiest here to completely zone out. Very high HP on that CK. You've already got the full magic wand, so the spell spam just kind of helps Raven out as well. And you've always got the save from Johnnyuel. He's got the mangoes ready, he's got the disruption to cut off the aggression, and that could give enough time for Raven to just, you know, reposition himself from the shards, dodge away from the snowball when it is running, and just kind of work against the gank. I mean, you could try to pressure Johnnyuel, but that just gives Raven all the space he needs to see us.
Yeah, I feel like both sides down bottom have a pretty big spike at level 3. Whether it's Ragey Potato going for a second point in Crypt Swarm, which he actually does just do. Genuel gets a lot of extra damage from his second point in Shadow Poison. If Raven wants a Chaos Bolt extra level as well. So I think we're going to start to see a little bit more brawling occur down bottom.
Oh, Afu.
Yeah, they do just that. Afu taking some damage, 2 poison stacks, but plenty of one charge. You see everyone except Genuel has come out to the lane with a stick or wand.
Yeah, I think they understand the spell spam's going to be big in side lane, so just getting as much out from everyone trading. This lane still looks really good for Raven despite that, because he's still farming, despite, you know, Raging having that potential with the Tusk. You're not really stopping the CK farm, and at the end of the day, that's still your pause 1. It's still going to hit a good timing on power treads into Armlet, and the CK is going to be online at that point.
And we were speaking about the rotations to be able to help out Moon. Afu is going to move on mid to try and secure one of the water runes, and looks like the same was said for DJ, who left Jab solo up top, but Jab's having a very good time. 20-7, mid one also following suit. Top of the last hits for the Gyrocopter.
Yeah, this top lane's probably the most passive one. You do have some play potential for both sides. I think it's stronger on SMG with the early magic damage mid one can have, but he does opt for the flak cannon or homing missile build. So he understands with the treants coming through, you just want to farm them up, play with your right click, keep farming. Ninja Bogey, he could be good setup with the Nightmare for a homing missile, but you're not looking to force the issue. You just want to farm. You want to, again, ride your stride, get your first item up on Gyrocopter, whether or not it's something like the Chrysalis, that we tend to see some C teams do, or something else entirely here for mid one, remains to be seen. But you do want this hero active to hit that mid-game spike that the lineup will need to carry through against Fnatic. They have this really good scaling. I think every point for Fnatic comes early to mid is just rough.
He's going to be in trouble. Ragey Potato and Afu combined together as Genuel getting a little bit of distance thanks to the Chaos Bolt. But First Blood is picked up from Ragey Potato. A beautiful snowball timing. One more right click is not enough. He's got to juke through the tree line, but Raven has the boots advantage, can close the distance and rectify the death from the Shadow Demon.
It's pretty good. I mean, you give First Blood away, but you do give solo EXP to Raven and kind of give him some solo gold as well. It's not too bad for Fnatic. It's still a good pickup for SMG, as they are starting to get aggression out. You know, you mentioned it, level 3, level 4 is when that aggression kicks in. You're starting to see it from some of these side lanes, and that's one way to kind of get Raging Potato off to the start he wants. Build up into his level 6, play with the EXO. Kills help greatly in that progression.
I think we're going to continue to see the aggression come out. Moon? Armel actually has the level 6, but a Swashbuckler to reposition, and Afu's going to step into the lane, but they have the Nature's Prophet +1 if required. Jabs doesn't feel like they can continue the chase, so repositioning from the Tusk at least to be able to prevent Moon from dying.
Got it.
They're really emphasizing that mid. They're just giving Armel such a clean time in this lane. A huge CS advantage already on the Lina. Great rune control coming out from the side of Fnatic as well. And that's the pain point for SMG. Just the scaling of Moon, his early start just doesn't feel great in this matchup. He does have the role ready, but he's not really free to go to the side lanes. And even up top, mid one's dropping low, being chased around by the treants. At least has the salve, but you know, he's finding his farm, but it is coming at a bit of a harassment cost. Fnatic's doing a great job of just finding everything they want in all of these lanes so far.
The one big thing I'm looking for is what the Nature's Prophet does and what the Lina does early. If they want to bring Lina top to try and offer that burst potential, kill off mid one and then take the tower with the help of the treants, or if Jabs feels like they can TP mid with Monkey King providing vision. Yeah, I saw that. He cut down the tree.
One of those silly things when you do have a Monkey King and an NP, you can unintentionally stun your own ally. It's all good. DJ's not gonna be hurting too much. They can't really set up onto Ninja Bogey. But back to your point, yeah, the Lina's pretty open itemization to roll out.
Aaron's got the Rolling Thunder. Is in a perfect spot to utilize, but he doesn't get the bounce back, but he's done. But wait, Moon?
What?
Wait, Moon went down! Mel gets the kill, the burst. It's enough to be able to kill him before he dies, and top we go as mid one. Call down utilized. The second missile gets the kill onto DJ, so that's huge for mid one.
Yeah, that's really, really good kill coming out. He is starting to drop low. Sprout is ready from Jabs, but he's not going to go for it. And because of that kill mid with Raging Potato over, they've got Exo to play with. They'll get instantly into a push. Not good news for Fnatic. They've got to hold this one off, but it falls pretty fast.
Should be able to. They've got the Wrath of Nature or the Banishment. At least doesn't get the tick on Raging Potato. They will catch up to Arfu. So the tower has been claimed without the Rolling Thunder to hit back. It's going to be SMG with one casualty. But John, you're so happy with that. You get a tier 1 tower, first Exo converted.
For sure, for sure. You're getting that momentum going. You can now dip into the triangle if you want to. You can start to contest the bot jungle a little bit better. Tier 1 bot is going to make that a little bit tougher, but you open it up. You know, considering that slower start for for Moon, clearing out the mid tier 1 just gives so much more. Gives him some room to farm in his own triangle safely without the worry of the smoke rotation being that fast. And it just gives SMG more time to cook up. Again, they're looking for initial items up. They want sort of like fast BKBs after a couple of items in, especially for the DP is the big one. I think after the Spirit Vessel, you either want the Yules or just the BKB, run in the middle, cause chaos in these fights, and start forcing the issue. SMG already getting some deep rotations out. Moon has the invis.
Gonna find Raven farming up. Arfu can play with the Pango. He doesn't have the greatest position to bounce back onto multiple wars, and with how tanky Raven is, he can avoid the gank. And now with Rolling Thunder on cooldown, let's see if Fnatic think about making a play. Yet they're instantly pinging top.
Already have the slow shove in from Jabs, just using the treants. Armel shows up now. Is going towards his travels as well. It's going to be able to work the map really quick with a follow-up from Jabs down the line. Haven't seen the NP rotations too much yet, except for that moment in mid. Not really lining up for too much aggression. Still opening up the map more for Fnatic's end. Top jungle's a little bit more free for them to invade. That will give them room for the build-up on Armel, who is their real big win condition. Sure, the CK is going to farm up. It feels like a secondary core in most cases. Armel is going to be where a lot of the scaling is going to be coming from. And they've kind of set up for a really good game for Armel. Mid lane went well. He's finding farm. Travel's pretty much done. So you can just show up all over the map for SMG. They've got to find more objectives. They've got to use the Exo and Raging. They were lining up bot. Could be a nice tower to take.
Oh, nice creep swarm timing. Just before DJ is able to jump back to the tree line. And they're happy with using the Exo. They know they can get that kill and then move it over to objective. So you were just asking them to be able to find these towers, and they do just that.
They understand what they have to do here in SMG, and those kinds of kills also help Moon kind of bounce back from that slower lane. He is still kind of queuing up what he wants next. I believe his Orb of Corrosion is coming out. Whatever comes afterwards, a big question. Could go for the initiation build. Blink Yules could try for the Diffusal. Again, doesn't feel necessary, but could be useful in stopping the Lina spell spam. Still, Fnatic, they've got their own smoke here to fight back.
DJ, there's so much information. Oh, the intelligence. It's perfect. They're going to run into Arfu. They've also stunned up Raging Potato in the backline. But the gap close is something Fnatic are lacking. They just put all their attention over to Arfu, and honestly, not the worst thing, because it could have been much more chaotic for SMG.
Not the biggest kill for SMG to lose out on. And that was a smoke committed from Fnatic anyway, so it's a big resource to use to still lose your bot tier 1. To only find the support. You're not fully satisfied. At the least, you can use the Phantasm to farm a little bit here for Raven. There was some mid pressure coming out from Jabs and Treants, just slowly shoving around the map, but not quite enough to clean up. I think the next thing for Fnatic is, again, work towards that tier 1 mid to open up the jungle more. we are getting a fast BKB here for Armel, so he also wants to be able to stand and fight, avoid a lot of control from SMG. That will force Ninja Bogey to make a choice now with a grip as to who he would want to hold back in these fights. As you know, you tend to see someone BKB, you want that BKB pierce on him, but that could open up more angles for Raven, open up jabs to just jump around, and could still make the fights pretty tough for SMG if they're not careful. So we'll have to see. Still a very even game here, Aries. 4-4, 12 minutes in, less than 1k lead for Fnatic. Map control, it's pretty even as well here.
It is. It feels like both sides are content with the farm they're getting. You know, Radiant playing on their side, Dire playing on their side. You've got all the cores keeping up in farm, but it's the Lina that's neck and neck as we see Armel along with Mid One farming up some of the Ancients. But you mentioned earlier, before we kind of had that little skirmish bottom, that Armel was a true win condition for SMG, for Fnatic this game. And do you feel like overall it's a good Lina game? Like, can he get to that stage where he's just uncontested and a beast in the late game?
I think so. Your natural jump on SMG isn't quite there outside of maybe just a roll on Moon. So there's a lot of pressure on the Pangolier to deliver a strong performance. And Moon's already kind of off to this really slow start. Bottom network core. He is going for Diffusal. When you think about the core matchup for Lina versus Gyro, you could try to play with Flak to increase your range, but Lina still kind of outguns you there.
We see DJ, he's going to be killed off down bottom. Ninja Boogie was forced to use the Fiend's Grip as they didn't have a way to cancel the TP, so another kill across the map, but it's on a support and not really the most vital hero on Fnatic. And like you were mentioning in regards to SMG's Rolling Thunder, in fact, they're going to smoke. Raven's in a position where he can eye up Rage Potato, so smoke popping, and Raven is able to reset his position, and this is a attempt for SMG that doesn't go their way.
No ward to spot, but the Nature's Rat does jump once. No.
Even don't do it. Don't do it. Greedy carry wants farm. Okay, Ninja Boogie steps out too far.
Not quite in range. That's a lot of commitment from SMG. Like all 5 heroes down mid, looking for that movement, looking for a good jump in. Does feel a bit early. They do at least secure the double damage rune now for Moon. And for SMG, their own progress towards their BKBs are also lining up, as mentioned. You know, it's very clear. You have Chrysalis into BKB for Mid One, a Spirit Vessel into BKB for Raging. Once at least one of the BKBs are up, you're going to be much more confident in these fights. More than likely, SMG will try to connect both BKB timings to really have huge presence in these fights. And we're not at the point where Lina's a right-clicker. Right now, she's still mainly relying on her burst Laguna with the Dragon Slave and LSA in prolonged fights. The BKBs complicate that, makes it harder to burst down SMG. Your output on Raven is decent, but he's not going to really be able to stand up in the middle of Rolling Thunders and the threat of grip, the silences, the snowballs that SMG has to break up these fights themselves. So probably just going to wait for these big items. Afu did show himself under the ward. Fnatic is in position to look for something here if they wanted to.
This is the second minute mark in a row where Jabs has just sent his trains to Dire's triangle. He tried to block up the Ancients. This time wasn't able to do so, but he did block the hard camp. So you're speaking about these BKB timings. In fact, we're going to see a Rolling Thunder top. Trying to close onto Jabs. He's going to go to the south instead. Moon is still in pursuit. But without the Diffuser Blade, there will be no slow to have anyone else follow up. But you were speaking about the BKBs, John, and Jabs is doing a really good job just taking a lot of the aggressive farm, polishing out the lanes, giving them information, but also sending treants to the triangle just to play the macro game, slowing down the farm that SMG can get.
And that's something we see a lot from mainly Ench players are the ones that really focus in. I think Aubang comes to mind.
He's doing it
when
again.
Comes to
He's doing it again.
Just, yeah, always block, prevent the build-up, and that's so painful when you have a Gyrocopter, right? You want to stack up for this guy, you want the flash farm, it's not coming out for SMG. Midwin's still doing a good job of being number one, but he's not snowballing ahead. It's not a press worthy for him, only 200 gold above Armel. So Fnatic's playing their cards really well. They're just stalling the game, split pushing as their lineup does really great with the NP and with the travels on Lina. And just constantly apply this map pressure. SMG, we've seen them group up so many times, they haven't found anything yet.
Still, my issues with Fnatic is just how they can start fights. They don't have this ease of execution in regards to like a Pango Rolling Thunder in. I'm up bottom, EJ. You can always cancel the Fiend's Grip, so it's never going to be a threat from Ninja Boogie. In fact, he wants to lay down the Wukongs. It's very close to the T1 tower. Rage Potato's going to TP down, but the Wrath of Nature enough to secure the kill without really putting your body on the line. As over to mid we go as Januel. He will also be killed off. Radiant, they're starting to react. Arthur in the middle, trying to get himself over to his territory, but unable to make it even towards the stairs.
His defusal dies 2 minutes without that. That's one big item that you mentioned needed for the inhibit to slow down to help with roll. And he loses it. They do find a kill on the SD, not the biggest. They lose their mid here on SMG's end from that aggression. And I think Fnatic find themselves in a real good spot. BKB is up now for Armel. He's very comfy standing up front. It forces that choice from Ninja Bogey for the grip. Makes it harder for them to hold back everyone else now, knowing that Lina might have to be the highest priority when that's not necessarily what you'd want in the middle of these engagements. And again, very even on kill board, but the net worth lead is piling on for Fnatic, and it's not like they have the flash farming hero in the Gyro Cop. Lina is one, but you'd reckon with the Gyro, Flag does a lot faster, but again, the camps have just constantly been blocked. Fnatic's done a great job of just, as you mentioned, handling the macro game here, and again, look at the Koreans. Jabs just keeps doing it. You can't stop it.
It kind of feels like SMG are playing like this game where they're trying to get kills, but Fnatic are just giving them no opportunity. It honestly looks like they're annoyed that these attempts, they're going a little bit too ambitious and biting off a bit more than they can chew. And, well, this is how one way you can force a fight. Trying to take Roshan as Fnatic. They don't want to let this go for free. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but can they continue to contest this? Lina's out of mana. They do have the BKB coming up for Raven as well. Oh, he's going to buy back. Okay. See if they can get in the pit. Roche is soon to fall. They just picked up on mid one, but they don't have enough resources as Raven just cuts away the life of Arthur. And now the Rolling Thunder is doing nothing through the Team Vipers mid one. First life taken away instantly. Now it does have the BKB for round 2. The stuns are going to be off the mark, but the Sprout blocking off the stairs, so mid one's going to have to go further through the river. Somehow mid one makes it away, now utilizing the flak cannon from afar as Jabs standing his ground with the help of Armel on the high ground. Moon, can he be killed off? The shield crush damage reduction will keep his life, and now it could be a dieback. As DJ enters the fight, the Spirit Vessel ticks him out. DJ's gone, Ninja Boogie sent home in a body bag. But what a messy fight we have by the Roche pit.
It looked like Fnatic were in a really good position to take that. They just didn't have enough damage to clear out mid one. They do take the Aegis away, but they don't manage to find the actual life, and it does fall flat. Really good blocks coming out from Jabs to cut off the staircase, cut off the support of SMG from helping out their gyrocopter. And I guess in the end, it evens out the game a little bit more. SMG take out a lot from that. They drag the lead down to just 1k. Killboard stays even at 99 as we go into the 20-minute mark. And this is the point where SMG's lineup starts to really kick into gear. You know, we're reaching that 20 to 30-minute time where BKBs on their cores feel really impactful. You've still got your fresh BKB here for Raging Potato. You've used one charge in mid one. He's going straight for a Satanic. Just going for the durability in the middle of these fights, and just wants to stand with that BKB use. And this is where it feels a bit tougher for Fnatic. As you pointed out, their ways of initiating are not quite clear. Maybe when you get something like a blink on Raven, you can just blink and instantly stun someone, but that's still kind of a ways off here.
Top lane, SMG smoking to try and move into the Chaos Knight's location, but Januel, perfect positioning, disrupts the Fiend's grip. And now they should be able to turn and get an easy kill on the Bane. Up to the high ground, Jabs, he actually teleports into the middle. 2 SMG heroes will get the kill on 1. And now still has the BKB to TP out. So we're 1 for 2 when all things are said and done. It's EXO committed 2 though, John. So it's a heavy fight for SMG and they don't really come out on top.
Yeah, it's a massive commitment from SMG, and just using these charges, using the EXO without transitioning to an objective never feels great. And you don't even find the biggest kills. You find a support monkey king. Not the biggest loss in the world for Fnatic. While all of that broke out, Fnatic didn't have the popularity. So you still have an 8-second charge left for Raven. They are rolling around, but Arno is pretty speedy here, although.
Should be okay.
I think playing tag.
The issue, John, is that Jabs is level 15. I think he's got the tome also. Oh, well, it's 8 minutes away for the tome, so he's getting ready for the next possibility if he needs that for level 20, but he should have it by then. But we're just seeing Moon have really not a whole lot of impact. I think it'll be different now with the blink completed, but this Jab's level 20 is going to come out really soon, and that's just a complete counter.
Yeah, it's not going to feel good.
Bottom lane, Jabs actually might be in trouble. Still doesn't have the BKB for a couple seconds. Mid one's able to cut through the Sprout. The Duke can drive through the trees, and he will have the BKB now available. The crit of the last one doesn't get lucky enough for mid one.
Bit on edge for Jabs. And speaking of him, as you said, hitting that level 20 mark soonish, a lot faster than you'd expect, is going to be big. You do at least have some save on SMG. Blink is up here for Afu, so the Tusk Blink Snowball is up. But Fnatic just going to smoke up here. Again, they still have that BKB waiting to go on Raven. His Blink's almost done. Could find it from these next kills.
Gonna see mid one. He's got Afu behind him. They can get in range for the snowball, maybe giving an opportunity, but it doesn't matter. Mid one pulled to the side, and now they can turn to Afu afterwards. Raven, great use of the Reality Rift. And look at this smoke, man. They want to go so aggressive. Fast-paced play from Fnatic. Moon TPing out. Eyeing up Jab's top. DKB still on cooldown. It's going to be stuck in the Sprout, but an ulti easily to cut through the trees. But Radiant, they're TPing to connect. They've got the Boundless Strike. Getting rid of the Fiend's Grip. Jabs has already taken too much damage, so Moon has the finishing blow, but they need to get out with their lives before the rest of Fnatic show up to the brawl. Moon's able to blink out to the right side. Ninja Boogie doesn't have as much mobility, so it's going to rely on cutting through the trees, but good old Monkey King things just always flying in and about in the tree line. It's actually back to Dire's Triangle. Armel starting onto Rage Potato, but the BKB's traded along with the X's, but Armel says, yes, sir, I'll take this duel. Couple of crits being expended, but Armel doesn't want to stick around. Knowing the rest of Radiant, they committed to top, so they will not be in at least the possibility to be able to join him in that fight.
They've managed to at least take out John Yuel as well. Not the biggest kill for Fnatic to lose out on once more, and that does open up the top lane just a bit more for Fnatic to get some extra farm. Without the NP, they can't fully commit for that push. But you see once more, Ares, Exorcism committed from Raging just for a support kill. They're not close to a tower. You're not able to really translate that into an objective. And you don't really win a big team fight there. So it's down for a long time. It's an opening for Fnatic. They could just look to play aggressive once more off the back of that. Like they still have a lot of movement up top. They see Moon. Bit of a tricky target to pin down, but you are in position to just constantly control the top lane. And eventually, if SMG don't respond, you can just take that tower and open up Roche even more in the next 2 minutes if it does respond quick.
I think this is a huge timing, though, for SMG. You've got 3 blinks now, along with your BKBs. The recent one picked up 4 Raging Potato on the Death Prophet. And they've got heroes like the Lina, like the Nature's Prophet, that do not like when heroes get on top. And I think the blinks are going to provide that capability just to beeline straight to these targets and disrupt them and how they want to play these fights.
Yeah, it's just going to be pretty tough. I think SMG, again, if you look at their lineup, they would want to be getting aggressive now.
Jabs is actually going to TP into the middle. Raven's got the follow-up along with Armel, so 3 claws of Fnatic instantly answering the calls. As Moon's still stuck around. Got the 15 talent, so the extra duration of the Rolling Thunder, but now Ninja Boogie steps over the boundary. They've still got the rest of Dire showing up. Ninja Boogie gets an ultimate out, but instantly cut down from Armel's burst. They're still able to turn it around, killing off Raven, but they don't have answers to the BKB. So a 2 for 2, but you do get the big life in Raven's Chaos Knight.
It's a major kill for SMG, just kind of forcing Fnatic to overextend, overstay their welcome, and they do get punished for it. Kind of dragging the lead back just a little bit. It's down from 5k to 3k. Huge net worth swing of about 1k going the way of SMG. And they keep that build-up. We're seeing the Satanic up on Widman. He can sustain himself in the middle of these fights. You've got the Blink running on Raging. You can just gap close, play with a Spirit Siphon. He doesn't even have his Shard up yet. Once that Shard is up, then some of these BKBs are going to be more key on timing for Fnatic. They've got to time that use right. Otherwise, the control from SMG starts to kick in. Spirit Siphon, Fear can really ruin your engage. And that's a constant worry now for Fnatic. We are still reaching into the point here, Ares, where level 20 for Jabs is going to line up. Just 2 levels away. You know, so maybe a little bit more patience from Fnatic. And they'll have a way to at least stopping that Rolling Thunder from being a massive issue here.
Yeah, it feels like Fnatic have been really happy with the status quo of this game. They've got a slight kill advantage, of course the net worth lead, 4,000 for them, and just playing this one safe, making sure they're able to find these late game timings. And I think the big thing is as well that this item for Armel, the Skadi, does so much this game against the range carrying the gyro, against the sustain from the Death Prophet. It's a really big item, and just even to tank you up a little to make sure you don't get bursted.
Yeah, it gives you so much stats, like so much strength, a little bit of armor with the Agi. It just kind of covers your bases. That's why it's really popular for a lot of farming cores. Top tier 2 will be sieged by Fnatic. Bot being shoved in by mid 1 with the rest of his team behind him. And that is still a bigger tower for Fnatic to take, and the timing is perfect here. They take the outpost, Roshan 7 seconds away. They have a clear advantage in controlling Roshan, just taking that objective next.
Yeah, it's scary to take a fight in the pit when you've got a lot of the AoE abilities on SMG. You can combat this very easily. It's just a question of do they have smokes to get there. Arfu's got one in the backpack, but they want to get the lanes in a good position to set this play up.
Both sides just being patient. There's the smoke out from SMG. They don't have vision up top. And there was some vision down bot for the riverside ward. That could give a hint as to those illusions popping, but you see SMG still kind of having a good pat here. Could catch someone out.
Phantasm for the fight. Raven's going to show in the lane as well, but Radiant, they do have a ward nearby. They're going to look to start on Raven. The BKB's out. But what can Raven really do? He's going to try and TP, but that's where Arfu comes into play. An instant cancel towards the backline, though. They're able to turn, at least get a trade early. As Armel trying to stand his ground. As Spider legs the high ground. Rage Potato continue with a hunt along with Moon. They're on to jabs, overwhelming the Nature's Prophet. And again, Arfu's in. A huge punch to take away the life of another core as SMG. All they needed was the blinks, a 3-for-1, and into Roche they go.
Arfu's just doing so much work here. And that blink on the toss just opening up all the possibilities for them. He's rushing into the Ags next. The kickback's going to be very painful for something like Lina. And with the Exo running into Roche, they get free Shard along with the Aegis. Shard goes the way to mid 1 and does manage to pick it up along with the Aegis. So he's got the homing missile upgrade. The Rocket Barrage is going to be chasing through. And this is where it's a bit awkward for Fnatic. Yeah, you've got some good items up on Armel. You cannot afford to have your CK caught out like that. He's still a big part of these fights. His repositioning ability in the Reality Rift is big in helping catch off some of these heroes. You need his stun. You need more. You need the Phantasms to help do some DPS as well. And they just got caught off guard. Like, they didn't see the smoke coming. Good angle for SMG to find. They find a tier 2 off the back of it, and they've got the lead now, 17-17, but 2k lead for SMG. This Gyrocopter is just growing bigger and bigger. He has his own blink up. You know, Midwin can just blink into the middle of these fights, blink away from these fights, reposition, get the angles he wants for these engagements, and suddenly that range advantage Luna has doesn't feel as scary as long as the Gyrocopter can get his position right here.
What do you feel like is the play here for Fnatic through this Aegis disadvantage? Can they even fight into this, or do you have to play the cat and mouse game and look to avoid?
Ooh, you could play into it. I think ideally you just avoid for now. Try to get some build up here onto Raven and onto Armel. Maybe wait out the level 20 of jabs. Almost there. I mean, you still have this big spike for the NP. He scales really nicely into the late game if he's allowed to farm. Jabs is doing a good job just split pushing, playing with his own shard, getting the greater treants out, and just making sure it's not a clear path for SMG onto the high ground. So I think you just play that way, stall out. Don't give the Aegis fight the way of SMG. Just avoid as much as possible. And they're still working the side lanes well. Top lane's being shoved in by DJ.
He's been caught out bottom. He's going to try and BKB TP, but the Walrus punches in. Oh no, not a bash. They've got the second answer to a BKB TP out now with this item on Moon, and you got to give him his props, man. Moon was struggling really early on in the Pengu. It was the lowest net worth out of the cores, and now he's higher than not only Jabs, but also Raven.
And this is where that pause 1 CK maybe starts to bite you a bit. It can be very 50-50. The Casino Knight's just one of those heroes where in games where it looks amazing, it's absolutely devastating. In games where it's a bit slower, it doesn't feel as great. And the answers are there for SMG. That Basher on Moon just... It makes these BKBs mildly irrelevant.
Armo just picked up a Daedalus, so this is going to be a lot of damage that they're not expecting. First life taken care of. Fiend Script once again answered, and look at Armel standing his ground, going to work. The machine gun that is the Lina. The Fury Soul's soon to expire though, so it's going to need something to get these procs. Have a Kree wave connecting. Moon's going to jump aggressively. Moon's going to be pretty cautious here. Banishment offering them a little bit of breathing room, but they're onto Raven back inside the base, but then not onto Armel, as Alina once again doing the damage, but a Nightmare out now gives them the opportunity to surround Alina under the tier 4 towers, as they don't have buybacks.
That's a scary prospect for Fnatic. They can't hold back from this push. It's a gyrocopter. And sure, Exorcism's gone, but you're gonna lose at least one lane of racks. SMG probably not in position to force any more beyond that. You do have to repair their top lane as Jabs is solo pushing right now.
Well, what's the play here, John? 10,000 deficit, full set of barracks, and guess what? Mid one just got a butterfly, so yeah, that's a big item now for the Gyro.
This is where things get really tough. The Basher on Pangolier just makes these fights feel impossible. It's a long-range pseudo-stun that you have no counterplay for. The best you can hope for from Fnatic is just force objectives with jabs, perhaps, and maybe try to hang on to that level 20. The Sprout leash is there. That'll help them get control. And I guess this is the moment where Jabs can join into the fights, help his team out, help get some control, lock in a couple of heroes, lock in the Pangolier. That's the big one. Like, the damage output of mid one's great, but it just feels like these bashes coming through from Swash is just way too much.
Dude, Jabs is playing with fire right now. Afu is so close to getting him in the tree line. They are really aware of just the game plan right now for Fnatic. It's just delay, try and force a 4v5, a 3v5, whatever it is.
Yeah. It's all about patience for Fnatic here, Ares. SMG, and they've been counteracting that well. And we're not seeing as much split push as you'd want from an MP. He's been trying, but he is forced to respond now.
Gonna start to Raven. You'd hate to force out an early BKB, but the Spirit Siphon's gonna push him out the base once again. They need an answer to Armel, standing his ground through the BKB. They kill off the Death Prophet, but how can they set up for this next round? They've used a lot of the abilities, but the leash is there, and it's perfect. Moon stuck inside the base. A 2-for-0, and we see what happens, John. When Armel goes untouched in fights, this Lina shreds apart the life of SMG.
Still has that massive range, hits like a truck. But that Daedalus and the Scotty helps him kite around. And this time you've got the contribution of Jab series. Yeah, that level 20 talent and NP. Tell me that's not broken. BKB piercing leash and what? A 6-second duration, 8-second cooldown. That is like 80% uptime. That's madness at the late game. And Jabs is just, all he has to do is show up, TP in, Sprout, and then he can leave. He can go back to push and he doesn't even need to do damage. He just goes. And it's, I mean, you have the swashbuckled Suns on one end, you've got the Sprout leash on the other. I don't know which one's more annoying to deal with here, Ares.
One thing to mention is that Afu did just get the Ag Scepter, so this might catch Fnatic off guard if they go for a higher ground push. You could buy back on Pango, okay, or you could also just cut down the tree. Monkey King, that's a good way to start. Lina's Nightmare up, so not really being able to do any damage. They turn it around though. They don't even get the kill on DJs. The reinforcements just swarm in the base, saying we are not going to let anyone die.
Managed to back off in time, forced the buyback out from Moon without him finding anything as well for his efforts. And that's a pretty big blow for SMG. Narrows down the net worth. A very even game. Start to present right now, Ares. 21 to 22, 2k lead for SMG. Doesn't count for too much at this point in the game, considering that both of your cores are kind of head-to-head. Mid one is about 3k ahead, but it's not like Alina cares about too much with the itemization you have here for Armel. So, feels like we're starting to boil down to that next Roshan here. About 55 seconds away until finding that respawn. Fnatic in a good position to take it. They still have outpost control, but they've got to be cautious.
Ooh, DJ. Again. I feel like this... We've seen the past couple of fights, it's been SMG sieging high ground, and it's very difficult. As their lineup, they want a lot of the map to play with. You want to be able to continue to chase the Lina so she doesn't have her high ground to back up on and act as like a blockade. But now that you're outside the base, it makes it that much more difficult for RML to get set up. So this game comes down to vision now. For DJ, setting up for RML so he can position properly. And I think SMG might consider a gem soon because they need to find RML at the start.
They've got to isolate that Lina. If you can get a good kickback here with Afu with the Yags, breaks the Lina's game, just nullifies that range advantage and makes it really easy to handle. That is easier said than done, as they do smoke up on the end of Fnatic now. So a minute until Roshan's up. If they do manage to take this fight, could open up Rosh quite nicely for Fnatic.
Coming out, Fnatic, there's that ward. Mid one's gonna brute force into the high ground. Mid one, leading the charge, but towards the secret shot. Rage Potato's got an opportunity, but they're onto RML! They're onto RML! The big win condition of Fnatic is down and out, and now Raven! He might be killed off as well! They've cancelled the TP, his life pool evaporates as SMG, it's time to force buybacks.
Yeah, 2 buybacks waiting to be expended here for Fnatic. Really good fight coming out from SMG. They find the angle, they isolate the Lina, and with that, it opens up so much. They've still got a little bit of time in Exo, not too much, but that does force at least 1 buyback out from Raven. Jabs is split pushing top, though. That is through backdoor, but that does still force a couple of TPs
He's
back.
gonna run into DJ in the tree line. This will force the RML buyback as well. They have to get out. Is there some key buybacks? RML and Raven utilize both of them. And do they even get anyone? Okay, it looks like Moon will be killed off. But Fnatic need to go to Roche now. You have to get something out of this.
Yeah, and that's still a pretty big window, huh?
Away. Sentry? Don't walk in. Mid one, don't do it. Oh. He's under a ward though. Scotty's out, so even the BKB's gonna do nothing. Stunned up from afar. Mid one, what are you doing in these neighborhoods?
Oh my god.
That's not your area, that's not your territory.
He definitely didn't get a warm welcome there, Iris. And Roche, as you mentioned, it's up. No buyback for Moon. 90 seconds for the respawn. There is a buyback in your jar, but without the Pangolier to roll in first, doesn't feel like a simple fight for SMG to contest. And that's going to be a big objective for Fnatic. They did just commit their own buybacks in 2 big cores. Aegis, Cheese, and Refresh. It opens up a huge push for them. Top is already broken onto the range. Could just go for Yumili. They could focus on another lane entirely for now. Split push with Jab still. SMG, this game's been on a tightrope, Aries. Back and forth, but that opening just feels way big for Fnatic with 2 lives in RML.
I can't stress the importance of this Aegis though, because there was a huge win condition on SMG. The potential of RML having a dieback could have just completely opened up the game, but now that he has the second life to work with, Cheese on Raven, just wait. Oh no! Oh no! He's got a buyback at least, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you can kick back RML, feels like you can handle. You can't just kind of, you know, try it that way. I appreciate the effort, but it does lead to another buyback, and the high ground just melts. The damage output of RML in this push is just ridiculous. Towers don't hold for too long up against that Lina.
Oh, nice Orchid! Oh, that's gonna be a dieback! Afu's gone, and he's been so important for the BKB control, and you need the kick inside the T4s if you're gonna hold. Top. Pushing away Jabs. And Raven's gonna go back in once again. Mid one shows, and they've just blown up Ninja Boogie at 3-on-5. All eyes on RML, but they have no way to get on top of the Lina as they're stuck inside the Wukongs. Rage Potato's gonna try to fill the role of getting onto RML, but the Satanic Life still means that he can stand his ground, back up to full health, and there's nothing they can do as RML is a man on a mission to send this into a victory for Fnatic. The buybacks, they're starting to rein in though, but you still have the Aegis. You still have round 2 to play with. They haven't even killed him off. RML sustaining through it all. He's unkillable. Look at the machine gun go to work as Fnatic. What a game 1 performance from them.
Oh, it was such a clean set of fights coming out for Fnatic. SMG, they had some good ideas. You know, the itemization for Moon, the recovery after that slower laning phase Ares, it was something else from him considering how bad the lane matchup for Pangolier versus Lina was. And the Basher did a lot of work, but we saw what happened. You know, Fnatic just held out, and they kept playing almost like a 4-protect-1 with Jabs kind of split pushing around the map. And the moment he got his level 20 talent with that leash, with a control, the counter fight in the high ground just worked out their way. The constant blocks from Jabs on the Ancients, man. You pointed out, but the Treant's always there, just ensuring that mid one couldn't find that farm. That was just a sickening play, and overall, very close, but Fnatic just have that extra edge to push it there. Their way there.
We saw the tier list recently, mainly from Team Spirit, and of course we haven't really had the opportunity to unfortunately see Eastern Europe and kind of their meta, but it was Toronto, Tokyo putting a lot of emphasis on the Lina, and we've seen it a couple of times so far through DPC, and it has looked really solid in a majority of those games, and it might be time to start putting a little bit more respect on this hero as Armel just goes absolutely god mode to send them with a game 1 victory here. And this is a huge series for Fnatic. Potential for a qualification spot to the major if they can take this series over SMG, and what a game to kick it off as they have a game 1 advantage. We're going to send it to break and have the panel break this one down.